You know what? I'm really excited about this episode. You know why? Because we have been working on this new product for over a year, and it's finally here. The non-QM bank statement HELOC in second position. One of the most creative loan officers I've ever met, Preston Caffrey, drops by again so we can brainstorm unique ways to originate these loans. From telling your realtors that their clients can recover their hard-earned down payment, unlocking equity without paying off that super low-rate first mortgage, to referral sources that you probably never have thought of, we are going to break it down for you right here on this episode. Also, for a limited time only, we are going to give you personalized marketing material for this product. Email us now at marketing@fundloans.com, and you can get your own Alt-Doc HELOC flyer. And if you haven't already, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
Welcome to the $1 Million Mortgage Experience Podcast. Listen in as CEO Jon Maddux of FundLoans reveals tips, secrets, and origination ideas to fill your pipeline with $1 million opportunities.
Welcome to the show. I'm Jon Maddux. Thanks for watching. I'm here with Preston Caffrey from Ocean Equity. Welcome to the show.
Thank you much. How you doing?
Doing good. So we're talking about HELOCs today. Something that I've wanted to launch for, I don't know, you probably remember me talking about this. Forever, yeah. Since they went away, right, in the crash. It's like, how can we do, regular HELOCs, obviously you can get them at banks and whatever, but a non-QM HELOC is what's been exciting. Kind of something I've been wanting for years, but, because think about it, you can't get a HELOC with bank statements. Banks don't do that.
No.
So when we launched it, obviously I called you and let you know about it. What was your first thought? Were you pretty stoked?
Yeah, absolutely. The reality is it doesn't exist until now.
Yeah.
So being the first to do anything is pretty great. But to have something that piggybacks on what is already new, alt lending, it opens up a lot of doors for us.
Definitely. And right now we can do it only in 3 states, but still, California, Florida, and Washington. So, can you imagine if we launched it and we're like, it's now only in San Diego? That would have not been good.
It'd still work.
Yeah. But, you do a lot of self-origination. You don't, you have a lot of referral partners. That's why I wanted you to come on. I know that you're really good with, getting leads, and you're not the kind of guy that just buys leads, or you don't rely on necessarily, like a company to provide you leads. You go out and source your own leads and things like that. So I'm sure you've had over the years borrowers asking you for HELOCs, right?
All the time.
And you're a mortgage broker, so you haven't been able to provide it.
No. Other than A-paper clients going directly to, the bank or connecting them. Do you have like a buddy
at Wells Fargo that you send it to? Yeah. So, and I'm sure that this HELOC doesn't solve all those problems. Like, there still are people that are going to, have full doc, and you're still going to refer them over to, But, actually, let's start off with that. Reciprocal relationship from the HELOC person that your friend, right? Whoever you could go ask them, hey, do you ever have a HELOC turned down?
Which, believe it or not, happens,
I'm sure,
all the time. Yeah. So, we've got a great relationship just with those basic things, let alone now being able to offer an alternative HELOC to what they just got denied for. That opens up.
Like, the tax returns are terrible. I couldn't get him a HELOC.
Yep.
So call my buddy Preston, and then you send it over.
And then I'll call my buddy Jon.
Would you just submit the loan, right?
Nah.
So we want to talk about other ideas that kind of are bouncing off in our brains. I know that I thought of a couple. I know you've got some in your head, kind of what you're going to do, your kind of go-to. But I think this opens up a whole bunch of opportunity, right? That's kind of what I was thinking. It's like, as soon as we now have this product, the opportunity to originate it is just going to be big.
Well, yeah. You start with one piece of the puzzle that was missing, and now, you can now leverage your home to buy an investment property that you couldn't do before. You can leverage your equity to help minimize your monthly payments, almost like a reverse.
So slow down, because let's unpack the first one.
Okay, yeah.
The first one. So you said, say it again.
You can leverage the equity in your home to buy an investment property.
So what I would do with that is I'd go to a real estate agent, right? And tell them, hey, you have clients that probably want to buy an investment property, but they don't have the down payment.
Yep.
So refer them to us so that we can get them a HELOC and get them cash out. Because, I mean, everyone knows someone who's got a good low rate first mortgage, right? Like a 3 and something.
Basically everybody.
What was the lowest rate you ever did?
2.75. 30-year
That's
fixed.
free money, dude.
Yeah.
So you don't want to refi. I mean, you want to refi them out, but you
I would
don't.
not. I would absolutely not.
So someone like that, if they wanted to go buy an investment property, but they have a bunch of equity in their home they can't tap into, that's a perfect person. Well, maybe they can get a HELOC because they're probably a borrower.
Maybe, but in all reality, you never know.
Right. They can start
Maybe
their own
they
business.
qualified just for that first mortgage, and anything past that, their debt to income wouldn't support on, their tax returns. But you bring in the option for bank statements, and now you've got a whole different.
So real
client.
estate agents, telling them about the product is a great source. One of the thought that I had was, what about, someone wants to buy like a ATV, a four-wheeler, like a motorcycle, a boat.
Go to Punta Mita on vacation.
Someone wants to go on vacation, they can't afford it. When you're an entrepreneur, all your money's tied up in your business. You know, right? So to tap into, a little bit of your equity at your house to get you. Now, these are only on first homes and second homes. You can't do them on investment properties, but still. Plenty of that. So if say you wanted to tap into that equity to go on vacation or pay for a wedding or anything like that. But I mean, that right there alone is a perfect opportunity. So,
absolutely. Yeah. I think you and I were talking earlier in all reality, just for everybody out there, if your client doesn't have an equity line, they probably should. I mean, if you own a home, you should have an equity line for a million reasons. Rainy day, daughter getting married, whatever, trying to sneak someone into school, but you need money. You need money to be able to do that stuff, and a lot of people cannot access their equity for whatever reason, but usually because they have alternative financing that wouldn't work with any conventional paper banks.
Also for bridge loans, like a lot of times someone who's upgrading their house, right? I don't mean upgrading the house. I mean buying a new house. Right. Yeah. Buying up. Exactly. So, we get often someone's like, I got all this equity tapped in, but the house is listed for sale. And, I can't, we can't do it if it's listed for sale, but let's say they want to hold on to it, right? Yeah. And turn it into an investment property later. They could tap into it, use that for a down payment on another house. What are some other things? You said the second thing you were going to say first was to buy investment properties. What was the second one you were going to?
The second one was basically turning your equity into a NAGAM situation, self-control, right? Almost like a reverse mortgage.
But isn't a NAGAM bad loan?
Isn't it bad? No,
those didn't go bad though. Those were like some of the only loans that didn't actually cause a problem.
The payment is what it is because you're tapping into your equity. The problem is that people didn't have equity. But when you have equity and you're not going to loan anybody money that doesn't, it's a different story. And they earn that equity or they put their own money into it. So if they want to, maybe they're starting a new business. And so funds are tight for the next couple of years. So they want to pay, 50% of what their current mortgage is. Well, you just take the other amount out of your equity each month and there you go. Cash flow. And it's, there's a means to an end, so you need to know what you're doing when you start that. But
you don't want to do it when you're strapped and you have zero money, or you don't see the light at the end of the tunnel when you're going to get more money, right?
Yeah.
But, I mean, you could. There's ways like you could invest into startups. Let's say one of my clients sent me an email the other day, and they were 2 brand new electric bikes. Did I show you those? They're these like motorcycle electric bikes, and I was blown away. It's from I want to say Sweden or Norway or something like that. And these things were like silent, and they're like, because motorcycles are like they're so loud, but these motorcycles were like completely silent, and they just. The speed is like 0 to, it's so fast. They were doing wheelies on them.
Yeah.
But this is a startup company, and he was just wanting to refi so he could put money into
the company.
Into this company. Yeah. And I was like, and we didn't have a HELOC back then. So I was like doing a refi for him. But so, I mean, and the refi that we were going to do, we haven't done it yet, but was going to be a much higher interest rate on his first.
Yeah.
But he was like, if this company 10X's, he's going to pay off his mortgage, so he doesn't care.
Oh, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, what do you guys cap at?
$500,000.
And what
90.
loan to value? 90.
90.
Right. So no one's doing cash out refinances to 90% anyway.
Mm-hmm.
That are, if they are, the rate is just death. So
yeah.
To be able to do that, now you have access to up to 90% of your home's value. The sky's the limit on what you can do. Invest in a company.
And yeah, use it, pay it down, use it again, pay it down. You have a checkbook.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a crazy, it's exciting. And that's why I wanted to do this podcast. Cause I'm excited. I'm hoping,
I
you
think
guys
it's great.
are excited.
Yeah.
What other ideas? I mean, I think investing in your own business is huge. If let's say you're a mortgage broker and you have a house and you haven't been able to get, your own equity out, you want to invest back into your own business to buy leads or to buy, just invest in a new place, a new operation, and hire those people hire that great operations person or that processor that you really didn't think you could afford or whatever it is. You could pull out and have a little cushion.
Yeah,
that's not a bad idea.
I mean, you can access the equity line to pay off all your debt, to fix your credit, to then be able to get the loan you want to get. I mean, there's so many things that you can do when you have the power of money and using your equity. Mm-hmm. And the reality is a lot of people have trapped equity that's just sitting stagnant. Right. It doesn't mean that that's a bad thing. Some people, they want to pay off their home and be done with it.
Definitely.
But if you want to leverage your property to be able to do more things, this is the program.
Definitely. So do you have any stories of origination things that you did? I know we talked in one of the other podcasts about when you made those wedding invitations. Genius idea. I've always loved that idea. Do you have anything like that you've done, for originating or?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of with the equity line
angle.
Yeah. It's definitely having somebody that you're sending your regular A-paper equity lines to, Wells or US Bank or whatever, and creating that relationship to where all the turndowns come in. I mean, that's definitely one. Yeah. And then you were talking about going really to anyone that deals with financing, car salesman, whatever, because they have turndowns and those people wanted to buy a boat. They wanted to buy a car.
Right.
They couldn't because the way that anyone is viewing that income is robotic. Right. Whereas now with this alt lending, you've got a solution for them.
That's true. Like back and I was telling you offline earlier, but I'll tell the story for the listeners. Is when I was young in my origination, early, I think I was my first week on the job or something like that. I was working at a company called UC Lending. Do you remember those guys? There was one of the oldest. They were 50 years in the business back then. They went under, but I was sitting next to a telemarketer, and this guy was so good on the phone. I was like, I just can't. He gave me a script, and I was having to follow the script, and I was terrible at it. I just kept getting hung up on, and I hated it. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna just get out of here. So I left the office and just kind of on a break. And I was looking around, and I saw across the street a couple places, and I saw over here, and then I walked across the street, and I saw it was like a boat dealership. They had the jet skis and little mini boats, fishing boats, wakeboarding boats, speed boats, and I just kind of was looking around. At first I wasn't thinking of getting leads from this place
because you love jet skis.
I was I love jet skis. I want to go to Cancun and jet ski. But I was finally I just got the guts to talk to someone and said, do you guys offer financing on these things? And he's like, yeah, go over here, talk to this guy. So I went over and talked to the finance person, and I just asked him, I said, do you ever have people that you turn down for financing? And he's like, yeah, all the time I do. And he literally opened up his drawer, and he's like, yeah, I got a bunch of turn downs right here. And I gave him my card, and I said, I do, alternative lending. Back then it was subprime. We were selling 10% first mortgages with 6 points, and we did seconds, these really cool seconds. I think it was very limited doc, and it was the rate was crazy. But he pulled this thing out, and I started looking through it, and I'm like, is there a box on there that says if they're a homeowner or not. And he's like, yeah, there's like renter or homeowner. And so I flipped through them and I was like, okay, here's a homeowner, and finally I got to the end and like half the stack was homeowners and they'd been turned down for loans. And I was like, what if I could get these guys a second mortgage or even a first cash out and then have them come back and buy, a boat or a jet ski? Would that be okay? He's like, yeah, take them. So I'm sure he didn't I'm sure he broke some laws of privacy or whatever.
For sure did, but
I was like, I'm gonna get some, and I got some business out of it. So I mean, not saying that would work for you today, but if you think out of the box,
it's true. The reality is most people, when they get declined for a loan, assume that they can't get a loan, period.
Right. Yeah,
their bank isn't telling them, hey, but you should look online. There's other options. It's when they go into their bank because they trust it. Hey, I've been with Bank of America for 20 years. And they say no. They just leave with their tail behind their leg. And that idea is false. You know what I mean? Like, I can't tell you how many people I've talked to that were like, oh no, I can't get a loan. Yeah. I can't get, my bank denied me.
And you're like, this is, let me try. And you're like, and they're like, I don't know.
And then they love you forever, which is great.
And then they tell people about you and just, that's the best. When you get referrals, my favorite referral is when, Joe sent me, or, Preston or whoever sent me over here and said that you did great things for him, or, and then you get that lead and they just automatically, it's just the best type of lead, right?
Because they're appreciative.
Yeah. And then the worst kind of lead is when they're expecting everything and you can't give them a bank. They're like, why can't you give me, why are there fees on here? Have you ever had that?
Yeah, or why isn't the rate 3.5%?
Yeah. I don't want to pay fees. Why is this margin on this loan, 5%? I mean, when the margins on all the loans at Fannie Mae is 3% or 2%. You're like, because this is not going to Fannie Mae.
Because you can't qualify for a mortgage.
So true. So HELOC, so we can go to 500,000, we can go to 90 LTV, do cash out, we do what's it called, down payment recovery. So I think that rate's slightly better, and the LTVs and the loan amounts go bigger. So I think that would be perfect, is like to let all your realtors know, hey, we have this down payment recovery program, and just pitch it kind of like that.
Yeah.
And so, when realtors see like someone putting down, 40% or something on a loan, then I'm sure they don't want to leave all that money,
Of course.
I was thinking there's one bank, I'll let their name be unsaid, but they were one of the first online banker, like internet type of bank, and they cap out 70 LTV, right? So I know you probably know who I'm thinking of. And I think on their portfolio loan, they cap at 70. So think about all those people who purchased, right? So, I mean, and title companies have these lists that you can just call your title rep and say, hey, I want this bank's information, all the loans that were purchase transactions or closed transactions for the last 12 months or last, 2 years, whatever.
Yeah.
And I want all their contact information. Then you can make one of those nice little wedding invitations.
Right.
And, you're cordially invited to regain or to recoup your equity that you put down on your house with a home equity line, blah, blah, blah. But it's like when you're fishing, right? For a certain type of fish, you got to know where to go for that. And you got to use the right lure. You got to use all the right techniques. But with this, I mean, that's the same kind of thing. These people all have equity.
Yep.
What are some other ways that you can know where someone has equity?
Well, I think going down that same path that you were just saying, people that have equity, just like I was saying earlier, should have an equity line in place to be able to access that should they need it.
Right.
So going down that same route, you're going to get in contact with however many people, all of which have at least 30% equity in their home now. All of them should at least be able to tap that to 90%.
Right.
With that, some of them will be A-paper people who want 4% HELOC, and
you give them to your friend.
Give them to your friend,
yeah.
and that continues that relationship. And then the ones who can't, you've got a deal. But I mean,
because think about it, that phone call that you make is going to be, you have all this equity in your home. Why don't you use it? And they're like, well, whatever reason, I can't get a loan or whatever it is. And your answer is, what if you could? And either you're going to get it from a bank, or and I can help you get it from the bank, or I can help you get it from FundLoans.
Well, and a lot of them have never thought about it.
Right.
Or they're thinking same thing. Hey, look, I just want to pay my home off, so I don't want to touch the equity.
Right.
You're not making them do that.
Right.
You're just saying you have now the option where you didn't before.
Right.
And they're cheap, and it totally makes sense.
What about one idea just coming to mind is when appraisals come in low on a house.
Yeah.
Right. So let's say you're doing a cash out refi, right, for somebody. Appraisal comes in low. So you're not able to get them as much cash out as you thought. They're bummed. It's because you cap at 80, right? Or whatever to get that rate. You get them that loan, and then you come back, 2 weeks later, get them a home equity line for that additional 10% cash they want or whatever.
Right.
That's probably huge. I wonder if you could get lists. I wonder if there's ways to find people who had appraisal come in low, or
it's like 50% of people.
Most right nowadays. But yeah, just reach out to those. That's one idea. There's so many ways, so many things. Like there's the down payment recovery. There's to buy another house. There's if appraisal comes in low. I should have made a bunch of notes.
We'll put together a list, and then they can click the link.
Yeah, NAGAM. That alone, there's reasons for that.
Absolutely.
If someone's getting a little bit older and they don't want to do a reverse mortgage, they can do the same thing with that.
Yeah. Hey, you want to go travel for 2 months and not deal with your mortgage or anything? Just boom, right there.
Yeah.
People work way too hard.
They do. They just need to put their house on VRBO and then go vacation with their home equity line.
I'm not afraid of that.
If you want to buy a bunch of wine, like just cases of wine, right?
No one does that.
Does it always go up in value, wine, unless you drink it?
No, I don't think always. No.
No.
But it's all liquid, so no matter what,
can you do
doesn't
loans
matter.
on wine, like cases of wine? Can you just do
with an equity line of credit? You can. Yeah.
collateralize your wine? What other ideas, Johnny?
I think you already touched on it, but like if your buddy comes to you, wants to start a business, you want to start a side hustle, make more money.
Side hustle, that's the future.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the now. It's not even the future.
It's
so many people are side hustling.
Yeah, well, they're just life hacking. There's so many ways.
Pitch on what you're side hustling, dude. Tell me.
Shiloh's company, We Drink Bubbles.
Yep.
So my wife and I have this champagne sparkling wine company. It's a club. So they ship 3 bottles of bubbly to your door. They're all different, all rare bottles, stuff you can't find in the grocery store. Again,
genius idea. And we send those gifts. If you're a broker and you send us a loan, we send out that champagne to you when you close $1 million deal.
Good man.
Because,
and if you're a broker, you should be sending it out to your clients when you close their deals. And to the realtors who referred you the deal, and to everybody. Who doesn't like getting champagne?
Cheers, right? It's like,
well, it just
congratulations.
It says you matter to me.
Right.
Which that little bit, it goes a long way. But just like you're saying, investing in companies, you want to have a side hustle.
Yep.
It costs money.
It's so true, and now it's available for entrepreneurs, which is what matters, because they're the ones that haven't been able to get it. They've been pretty much locked out of getting this kind of thing because of tax returns and writing off too much. So we feel so bad for them because they write off so many, so they have to pay less taxes. But I think the main point here is that if you sit down and you get a piece of paper out and you just write down ideas, there's so many ways to find business, right? Yeah. Like, you're busy right now. I'm sure it's not right now. I think it's because you just said it was because of the drop in rates. But
nice.
Let's say that the rates went up to 7 tomorrow.
Yep.
Like, what would you do? What would be the first thing that you would do?
Well, rates go up to 7%. People don't stop buying houses. Right. So you still nurture all the realtor relationships you have.
Right.
And in that, again, to be able to say, look, maybe with this loan you have to put 30% down, but as soon as it closes, I'll get you 20% of that equity back, just so you have access to it. You don't need to take it, but you have access. As rates go up, also payments go up. So to be able to subsidize that payment with a little bit of equity, that would be huge.
Definitely. Yeah, I like it.
Even like Carlos, he's got a bunch of people who invest because he flips home.
Yep. Carlos, the home flipper.
Yeah. So I'm thinking, because he's calling me up, people in our circles are now investing with him.
Right.
And he flips it, sells it within like 4 months, maybe. Not even that long.
Yeah. So, you could pull out the equity, invest with someone who's flipping a house.
Who knows what they're doing.
And then as soon as you get your check, you pay off your equity line and then take the profit.
Yeah. And then you can even just reinvest with him If you did a good job, if you did it well,
Yep.
you just keep building off that.
Yeah.
But you just need the little bump to jumpstart it. Yeah.
Love it. So many ideas, like we were saying. Anything else?
I mean, I could think of a million things that you can do with money, and that's really what we're offering, right? It's just
We sell money.
Yeah.
That's what we do. Yeah, but this is a lot of good. I mean, you could just take all your equity out and donate it to like a cause.
Invest in karma.
I'll take that.
Invest in karma. I've never heard that. That's great. That's awesome. All right. So what else? You were saying.
I said paying off credit card debt to
Right.
increase your credit score so you could refi, whatever. But in general, just paying off credit card debt, the rate on the equity line is going to be lower than what you're paying.
Definitely.
Period.
Yeah.
And you have way more time to pay it off than these tiny windows where they're, totally gouging you. So
Yeah. And why? Credit cards are annoying. Just pay them off. Just
get
use
rid
it.
of credit cards.
Now, we were also talking about state or IRS liens. So if you
Yes.
now going back to finding these leads and these borrowers, if you ask, I bet you could ask title reps. You could probably just go online. There's probably lists even in your local area, or like I would say in the whole state, like Florida,
Yeah.
the state of California, where it lists people who have tax liens, state tax liens, federal tax liens. I think it's public record somewhat, if I'm not mistaken.
They're delinquent on their property taxes. Period.
That's
Boom.
public record for
Yeah.
sure.
And what better way to pay off your property taxes than with your property? I mean,
Exactly. So, I mean, and you think about this is really for the entrepreneur. This is for someone who doesn't have good tax returns. Also, it's tax season. A lot of entrepreneurs need to pay their taxes.
Yeah.
And why not be able, especially let's say their business is doing well, but it's like they're still at that point when they need a little bit of extra cash in their business, and they don't want to pull it out of their business. Otherwise, it'll kind of lose the momentum of their business.
Yep.
And to get a HELOC so that they can pay that tax, huge help.
well, I mean, even a lot of self-employed clients, I mean, their income ebbs and flows.
Right.
So it even use it for the times when
Yeah.
it's down,
kinda like
when
a-
you know it's going to come back.
Little supplement, right?
Yeah.
Like especially for anyone that's commission only, they have an off month, they can pull out, have a great month, they can pay it back down.
Yeah.
But I do like the thought of, where can you find these people? And I think being able to maybe reach out to IRS attorneys or, if you just go online and type in, I have a tax lien, even if you don't, just you type that in, there's probably 1,000,
Oh, for sure.
ads for, settle
Yeah,
with
I
the
mean,
IRS,
And
right?
reach out to your title officer. I mean, anyone that's delinquent on their property taxes, you can get that from them right away.
Yep.
So put them to work.
Dude,
got lots
so
of
many
people
ways.
who want to help.
So many ways. So fill your pipeline with some HELOCs at FundLoans. And if you need any more ideas, we'll be here. Watch us on the next one. Thanks for joining me. Thank you for listening to our podcast. If you guys are looking for more content like this, we have a FundLoans YouTube channel where we give away more tips, secrets, and origination ideas. You can also email us at info@fundloans.com. And if you've made it this far, I think it's safe to say you like our content. So please subscribe, share, and send us your scenarios. Let's fund loans together.